Hey, how's it going? Hey, MrDeadman Horror Talk Radio. Tonight we're talking Japanese horror films because why not? Why not? The Japanese have a interesting way of doing horror. I don't know. It's different. When you think American horror, you think slashers. You think Universal monsters. When I think Japanese horror, they have... It's weird. Like more ghost stuff, right? Like Ju-on, The Ring. And I don't know of a lot of Japanese slasher flicks. Because the titles I'm going to be talking about tonight, none of them are slashers. I mean, you might be able to consider 2LDK a slasher, but no. I mean, they are stabbing each other. If you ever seen that movie, well, then you know what I'm talking about. But different caliber of horror, a different type of horror altogether. And when it comes to nailing down the creepy atmosphere, I think the Japanese pretty much get it. When it comes to going full on with the camp, the Japanese definitely get it. Hey, leave it to the Japanese to come up with a zombie-ass Toilet of the Undead, which, surprise, surprise, is not on my list of favorite Japanese horror films. It is a funny film, and it's worth definitely watching. If you've never seen Zombie-ass, it's worth watching. It's worth streaming. It definitely is. It delivers. It does exactly what you think it's going to do. Okay, so James, good to see you here. I would count Battle Royale as a horror film, though most might disagree. Right? It would be kind of like some may say like an action film or something kind of like the Hunger Games before Hunger Games, right? It is the inspiration behind Hunger Games. What is that? Is that horror? Is it teen drama? I don't know. But that is a good movie, though. The original Battle Royale, awesome film. Great film. Yeah. So, let me start this off by asking, what are four, if you have four, what are four Japanese horror films you really enjoy, you like? If you can't think of four, that's okay. I'm sure you can think of one. Most people have seen either the Grudge or The Ring, and probably the American version, which is kind of sucks. The original versions, the Japanese versions, I think are better, especially when it comes to nailing down the creepy atmosphere and really delivering. And the creepy atmosphere is what helps deliver the scares, because The Ring, I didn't think was scary. Like a VHS tape you play, and then there's a curse. I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it with the American aesthetic, but with the Japanese aesthetic, gotta believe a little bit more. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it. Like The Grudge. I like the Ju-on better than The Grudge. They're the same movie practically, right? One just has American actors. Okay. But I thought the Japanese version was better. Hate to sound like a snob on that part, but it is the truth. Which, by the way, I don't know if you've seen the Netflix version of The Grudge. Pretty cool. Pretty cool. The Netflix Ju-on. Overall, I definitely enjoyed that. I will say the disappointing moments are at the very end when they put the CG zombie undead girl thing, the mom, whatever. Why? If your CG is gonna look like PlayStation 1, PlayStation 2 style, just don't even bother. Just don't show it at all. How about that? Right? Come on now. It's that came out in 2020, and I swear the computer graphics at the end looked like it didn't even look like PlayStation 1 graphics. It looked like PlayStation 1 era Final Fantasy 7 FMVs, full motion videos. If you know what I'm talking about, then you can visualize it. Good thing they revealed that at the very end. They had to have known that undead mom zombie thing was horrible looking. That's why I only got a couple seconds of screen time. There's a reason for that. It was totally unnecessary, too. Because throughout the whole series, the Ju on Netflix, they were already kind of like using, I don't think they actually showed the mom. Like, well, they kind of hinted at it. Just do that. Just do like a subtle hint. Show part of the body or something. It's kind of why strip clubs work. Wow, gonna make this disconnect somehow. But the reason why strip clubs have that appeal, have that sexual appeal, is that because there's low lighting in the place. You can barely see the strippers. If you saw what the strippers actually look like, you wouldn't be there. You wouldn't be giving them your dollar bills, your hard-earned money, because you'd know that they are meth heads. And if you don't believe me on that, well, guess what? You can go find out. You can go explore on your own. Come down to Texas. Come down to Mississippi and explore. The lockdowns have been lifted. Yeah. Freedom, baby. Anyway, so I'm going to talk about 4 different Japanese horror movies. Kind of do a quick review and pretty much talk, discuss, whatever. Talk about some highlight moments with them. James says, most of my favorite J-horror is of an older vintage like Goki, Body Snatcher from Hell, Bantangu Aka, Attack of the Mushroom People, and House. I have only seen one of them, and it was House. House is a bizarre masterpiece. House is fucking wild. If you've never seen House, you got to watch it. It's worth it. Even if you have to pay to watch it, it's worth it. It's worth it. But just let me warn you though, when you watch House, yes, it is a parody. It is sort of it's self-aware. House is one of those movies. It's self-aware. It knows that it's using tropes. It knows that it's having fun with the audience and all that. Hell, the villain in the movie flat out winks at the audience. It's like, come on. And the hero of the story never makes it to the house until at the very end because he gets distracted by food and stuff. It's very funny. Man, you know what, House? Dude, it's good. It's really good. I want a story that laughs. I want a movie that laughs at the white knight that comes in and saves the day. that exposes that trope. That's House. Bronx Beats, but I could get me some good samples of them movies from my beats. Well, you know, if you didn't keep meth in your beats case, then maybe, I don't know. For those who don't know, get the reference. There's a guy who's literally named Chaggett. That's his name. That's his name. And apparently he stores meth in his headset case. Okay, so the first film I want to talk about is, well, I guess let's do it in order here. 2LDK. 2LDK. 2003. I don't know if you've seen this movie or not. I thought it was pretty good. I definitely enjoyed it. The first time I watched it was when I was working at Blockbuster. I rented it. And I didn't know what to expect at first. I just knew these two chicks would be fighting. It's a movie. Man, if I were to summarize this movie, it's two chicks that are just having a cat fight that ends with both of them dead. They just do not stop. It's like roommate hell. It starts off with a little bickering. It starts off with like little name calling. Then it goes into like, oh, you're using my shampoo. Then it goes, oh, well, you drank my drink or something, or you ate my food, or you used my perfume and stuff like that. It might sound petty, might sound very mean girlish, because it is. It is. Why would I want to watch that? Because these girls do not stop. Like I said, I of course I gave it away. They both die in the end. There you go. There you go. But you know how it's going to end. Come on. It's a horror movie. If you want to call it horror, it's more like a psychological horror, drama, or comedy. I would consider it more of a comedy than a drama. But these two chicks, they're actors, and they are competing for the same role. So they hate each other. They hate each other. They can't stand each other. They're opposites of one another. One is very pretty and is willing to do T and A roles for moving further in their acting career. The other one is more reserved, quiet, and I guess you say traditional, more conservative. Yet, he has bigger boobs. You want to say bigger boobs? I mean, bigger boobs in Japanese standards. Like they're nothing really all that crazy. But you have these two characters, and that's the whole movie. The movie takes place in one location, or one central location, the apartment, and you have these two actors. That's it. For the most part, there is a voiceover who plays the guy who they audition with, the director or the producer or whoever. So how do you make a good movie with just two people in one location? Something worthwhile of watching, right? We're talking about something very minimalist. That's the strength of this particular movie. I put the box art on the screen so you guys can see what it looks like. When I first saw this, I thought this movie was about them fighting over an apartment. When I first saw it, I wasn't really paying attention to the subtitles. And what the cover looks, it looks like they're fighting over the apartment, which, I mean, shit. That would have to be pretty expensive. But no, they're fighting over roles. And like I said, it starts off simple, starts off small. We're talking about like petty stuff, like, oh, you use my shampoo, or you drink my drink. Just horrible, like, roommate from hell scenarios. And it goes from that to slapping each other in the face, which that scene when it happens is like, it's tit for tat, man. They just slap, slap, slap. But it goes from that to later on chainsaws, a katana, some sort of axe looking thing, and then an ice picker, okay? Or an ice pick. So yeah, it does end in a pretty brutal, disgusting way. Definitely worthwhile watching. I definitely would recommend it. I don't want to give away the last line though. There's something that happens in the very end of the movie that makes it all worthwhile. It's like it's one giant comedy. Okay? The Greeks would call that a tragedy. They all die in the end. But then something's revealed. Good movie. Good movie. Very minimalist. Very simplistic. The two actresses really carry their own in this. Now, let's get into another one. Let's see. Because of Japanese horror, because I'm going to have to talk about Ju-on. I mean, who doesn't know Ju-on? Who doesn't know The Ring? I thought that boy, I thought that girl, I thought they're both really creepy. No. That stuff. I wouldn't, you know what? I'd be lying if I said it didn't scare me. I mean, I wasn't like shook and, you know, I wasn't terrified when I was watching the movie or whatever. But it was one of those films that after watching it, like, if I see like a darkened area, I kind of wonder, what if there's a little Japanese boy there? Going, what if? But then I was like, well, how the fuck would a Japanese boy ghost come over here? That doesn't make any sense. You know? But just imagine if that could happen. Just imagine. All of a sudden, like, this little kid spirit is like in the corner of the room watching you. You see some girl spirit thing going downstairs, crab walking and shit. Like, what the fuck? This house needs to be blessed. This house is cursed. Ju-on. Ju-on, that's right. The Grudge. So, Ouija, are you saying there's a alternate version of the Ju-on we don't know about? The real reason why the father, what was I forget the story of the Ju-on. The mom killed the kids, or the dad. I just remember domestic violence, and the kids died. Some horrible shit happened. Fuck. That one, I don't remember as well as 2LDK. But let's just say the real reason why all that shit went down was because the gold was found. The real reason why it went down is because I got to be careful. Yeah, I thought Ju-on was pretty good. Creepy. Yeah, all right. It's scary. We didn't have any gore. I don't recall any gore. It was just one of those, like, I can think it really shows the strength of like Japanese horror. Really, when it comes to like supernatural or paranormal stuff, they have a lot of that. Right? And normally that doesn't do anything for me. Normally I don't care. Like I've said it before, like the Paranormal Activity movies, not a thing for me. Okay, right? It doesn't. I'm not really that interested in those. I'll watch them and I'll find something to enjoy out of it, but when it comes to paranormal, I think the Japanese do it a lot better. When Americans do it, it just seems so fucking fake. Even, what was that fucking movie? Insidious? The first one? Started off okay. I thought Insidious started off okay. But then when they bring in the ghost hunting crew, I was like, okay, now this is a fucking comedy. How's it going, Sean? Comrade Breadman. That's right. That's right. Bread tuber. Pro communism now. Something, something, something. Share your wealth with me. No. But I do want to go back to the Ju-on Netflix series. Like I said, I do highly recommend that. If you like Ju-on the movie, I mean, the series is just it, except extended, and you get kind of more information about the little characters, or all the characters, I should say, and sort of trauma they go to, and it kind of builds up to. Yeah, looking back on it, it's kind of a slow build to what you see in Ju-on, the original film with the ghost boy and all that. Of course, the thing I didn't like, of course, was that CGI zombie thing at the end. Horrible, horrible. And if you've seen it, you know what I'm talking about. It almost ruined it for me. I was loving it until that part, and I was like, "Fuck this." All right. Now, let's see. Japanese horror. The Audition. We got to talk about The Audition. I don't know if you've seen this film. If you haven't, of course, I recommend it. Of course I do. I'm talking about it, aren't I? But if you do watch it, and you're a little disappointed of how slow it is, just stick with it. The Audition, it starts off slow. And it starts off with a premise that could either be like an American Pie sort of like comedy about like some dude trying to get sex, except as an adult who's trying to use an adult man who's trying to. His wife passed away, and he's trying to use screening for a fake role to find a date. Seems like a romantic comedy of some sort, either American Pie style or like super, I guess you could say sleazy or whatever, or hyperbolic and whatever, or kind of like one of those rom-coms, those chick rom-coms where the female lead does the same thing. I think there's movies like that, right, where the female lead will like use her role and make a fake audition to find her partner. So it's that sort of setup there, and the guy feels guilty about it because he lost his wife and he loves his wife and doesn't really want to move on, but then he kind of does at the same time. He's torn. He also feels bad about the way he's doing it. Using a fake audition to screen applicants for a potential partner. Like I said, some people would say, "Oh, that's a little Weinsteinish." Oh, no. He's not doing a quid pro quo. He's not saying, "Hey, you do this, you get this role." No. It's all fake from the start, baby. Besides, those that would complain and say, "Oh, that sounds a little Weinsteinish," they probably like a rom-com that was the same thing, except, genders swapped. The role reversed. Now, with The Audition, the horror doesn't start until about almost mid into the movie. I watched this last year. It really left a lasting impression. It's about halfway through is when the horror element starts, when it totally flips. And when it does, it goes fucking crazy. It goes crazy, off the rails. Like, there's things you see in this movie that don't make any real sense other than just disgusting, dirty, greasy. There's a scene in the movie where there's like this naked Japanese man. Well, he's not naked. He's wearing underwear, but soiled like he's been shitting, pissing himself. And he's in this bag. And he's in his bag is at the girl that's been auditioned. We'll call her the fiance, because that's what she is at this point. Around the time all this freaky stuff happens is when he's about to marry her, about to propose, really. So, potential fiance, we should say. So, in this potential fiance's apartment, there's this bag with this half-naked Japanese man in there who's been soiled and pissing, shitting himself. He comes out of the bag for food. Now, the man is like missing all his fingers except for one. And he doesn't have any teeth. He doesn't. No. I think he has teeth. He just doesn't have a tongue. He doesn't have a tongue. He's like fucked up. He can't talk. It like for food, for sustenance, this chick regurgitates vomits into a bowl and gives it to him, and he eats that. Wow. Amazing. Thank you, Sean, on the congratulations for my freedom from COVID. That's right. It's over, baby. It's over. And like I said, that's right. Texas lifted its COVID restrictions. Good. And for those who say, "Oh, but," I'm not worried. I tell you what, if there's a large spike and people start dropping like flies, and I regret what I say, okay, fine. When that happens, if that happens, I'll eat a lump of dog shit. How about that? But it ain't fucking happening. Now, that naked man, half naked man, Japanese dude, whatever, in the bag, that's not the only messed up image. There's another one. It's a running thing with that character. The character you see in the bag is very similar to another character who's been mutilated by the potential fiance. And that's the potential fiance's piano teacher or ballet teacher, who is a giant fucking pervert. And the implications was that he molested her or perped on her in some gross pedophilic way. It implies it heavily. Heavily. Okay? And you know what I mean by that. With this guy, he's in a wheelchair. He has no feet. He has wooden stumps that would be feet with wooden toes and everything. Like just wooden feet. And like I believe he's missing body parts or whatever. Just weird stuff. And this part of the movie is when he starts remembering. See, when this happens, right when he's about to, after telling this chick he's about to propose, or probably planning on proposing, he goes to bed with her. They have sex. And then whoosh, crazy stuff happens. Then she's gone for the rest of the movie. Where did she go? She's a figment of his imagination. Turns out she could be a ghost. She could be a serial killer. The movie leaves you guessing. Leaves you wondering what's going on with this. Of course, at the end, there's a lot of people who use these gifs of the chick with the freaking piano wire. His potential fiancés in this house. He poisoned them. And he goes to kill him. Torturing with like little needles right in the eye. And I can handle gore and all that stuff. But that scene was difficult for me. Something about the eyes, man. But now looking back at this movie, though, the audition pretty much, I would say, is like, okay, because there's a lot of theories. It's one of those movies where there's a lot of theories as far as why things go down the way they do, because there's a lot of implied things. Nothing's really explained outright, except for at the very end. I think it explains it clearly what this movie is. The Audition is not some art house film. Some people would suggest that it is. No. The Audition is really just about a man dealing with regret and dealing with the dread of the possible future. He's dealing with the fact that the regret of moving on from his dead wife, who he still loves, and also the guilt of getting this woman through that sort of sleazy way, I suppose, and then just the fear. The reason why I say it's so, that's obviously what it is because at the end of the movie, guess what? It was all a dream. He wakes up in the bed and she's next to him like it didn't happen. Like none of it fucking happened. Because you know why? None of it did happen. Look, good movie either way. I mean, interesting stuff happens. Sure, yeah. But, you know, I'm torn. I kind of want to take that praise back. Good movie. How about average movie? Average movie. Because it's so... Those sort of movies that just end with, oh, it was all a dream. But it was all a dream. So it doesn't really matter what you see during the dream part. It could be anything. I mean, what you see in that movie is pretty wild. So I mean, it's a worthy ride. But what? It's just a dream. Yeah, I forgot who directed Audition. I guess I could pull it up right now, but no. I'm on IMDb. I can pull it up right now. All right, let me see. Who directed Audition? The Audition. I like how it brings up, because there's another movie called Audition that has nothing to do with this. There we go. Audition. And we got here is Mike Milk. That's right. That guy. Takeshi Mike. I'm probably did not even say that right. But I would still recommend watching it. I mean, House, I would recommend people watch House. And what is House? House is a comedic horror film that has fun with the various tropes and stuff. That's stuff we have here in the States, you know. That's called like Scream. That's called Cabin in the Woods, if you will. Though I think House is much better than both those movies. House has something those two movies don't. Better cheesy effects. Favorite scene from House? Of course, my recovering Coomer ass is gonna say when the ass was bitten. Okay. All right. BEK? Okay. I'm probably gonna forget how to pronounce that. All right. Another movie we've got to talk about. And as far as Japanese horror movies, dude, the first time I watched this movie was actually earlier today. Suicide Club. What the fuck? Dude, I got through this movie. At the end, I felt fucking depressed. I was like, man, this movie might have one of the highest body counts of any fucking movie. Well, I mean, if you go by what they say any horror movie, I should say, if you go by based on what they say in the movie, how many people died. If you go by on-scene deaths, I don't know. It is a pretty high number, and definitely it definitely wins in the category of high suicides. I think it would have to be competing with The Happening, and I forget how many people died who committed suicide in The Happening. And I'll say, The Happening is garbage compared to this. Oh, first off, I don't really like The Happening. The only thing cool about The Happening were the funny deaths. The wind thing making people go crazy. Or no, the trees making people go insane. Shut up. Like I said, sometimes it's best not to explain the reason why people are just going mad and killing themselves or doing whatever. Just, if it sounds retarded, just don't say it. I think The Happening would have been a lot better if it was just never said, never explained. It would be like, what the fuck was everybody killing themselves? They just were. But anyway, going back to Suicide Club. So yeah, if you've never seen this movie, everyone's killing themselves. They're going fucking crazy. They're just killing themselves. Like within the first 5 minutes of this movie, there's the 54 Japanese schoolgirls just get ran over by a train. I mean, and they're so happy doing it. They're so happy fucking doing it. They're so gleeful and smiling and joking. They hold hands, they lock hands, and they do 1, 2, 3, and they just jump all right in front in unison, right in front of a moving train. Now, the blood effects of this movie is over the top and ridiculous. I mean, it's just spraying everywhere. All over the place. And it gets even more ridiculous on the scene where, after this scene, the other one is all these school kids want to just kill themselves. They start having a conversation about, oh, did you hear the news? Yeah, did you hear about the suicide cult or suicide? The kids who the kids that jumped in front of the train. Oh, it must be some sort of suicide club. Must be some sort of cult. Yeah, cult. Okay. All of a sudden, one boy's like, "Hey guys, want to just die today?" And they're like, "Yeah, let's die." No way, are you gonna die? Watch me kill myself. And they all just run, they all like happy, gleefully, just super positive, bubbling with excitement. Oh man, they just want it to happen. They're just done with life. They all just go to the edge of the school, of the rooftop. They're just like, you know what? You're not really gonna do it, are you? Yeah, we're gonna do it. And they jump. And the school didn't really look like that big. It looked like maybe like 3 stories. But when they hit the ground, body explodes. It's one of those things where I guess the body just hits the moment the body hits the ground, just blows up. Now, Sean, you asked if it was a comedy. I don't know if you're asking about House. House is like a slasher comedy. But if you're asking about the Suicide Club isn't really a comedy. But I guess you can kind of say it is in a way. Really dark comedy. See, the police storyline is what keeps it grounded, and they're trying to figure out what the fuck is going on and try to solve this thing. But they can't. Because they're trying to approach it as if all these suicides are murders. But how do you investigate that when you don't have a murderer? You just have people just killing themselves. And when I say everybody in the movie, dude, there's extras that are just brought in just to kill themselves. The cop, the one of the lead detectives, his whole family just kills himself. He kills himself. The lead character in the movie kills himself. You see what this movie really is. This movie, I don't know if you would consider it an art house film, but this is a movie that has some subtext to it. It has an underlying message. Sometimes it gets kind of pompous, sort of like bullshit. You see, this movie in the movie is this fixation on this J-pop band called Dessert or some whatever thing. Just imagine J-pop band of like 5 girls, probably 12-year-old, dancing, singing the song called like Mel Me or whatever. And this song, this performance, is consistent throughout the movie, and it's constantly referenced. There's a reason for it. There's also a reason why in the police story, they kind of go into like message boards and pretty much I could say like the equivalent of like those like email chains or Facebook chains. I haven't seen them in a while. Those things on Facebook you'd see where it'd be like, share, subscribe, or somebody might die. It's one of those chain things where they go around, they post it, they want you to post it so like you don't get cursed or whatever. Some nonsense, some bullshit. This movie, let me take my phone cigar. This movie satirizing the influence that pop has, and to move that towards something more relative. Imagine if someone like a big influencer like Jake Paul or Logan Paul or James Ralph of AVGN or Taylor Swift. Imagine if someone with some influence were to come out and say, guys, it's time for us to kill ourselves. And they did it live on air, or did it where everybody saw it and promoted it, and there's like, let's just do this. Well, imagine what would happen. I'd be like the Tide Pod challenge, right? Some idiots take the Tide Pods, and other idiots follow. It's like the girl with the fucking Gorilla Glue. Some dumb chick did the Gorilla Glue thing, and other dumb chicks follow. I'm sure there's been plenty of other dumb people who followed that story. And this movie, it of course is satirizing how easily influenced people are based on what they see in the media and whatever. Some bullshit. See how these people are offing themselves. Turns out that J-pop band, that J-pop group, in their song is coded in the word suicide. It's in the melody. It's in everything. The notes that are used, the numbers that the girls have on their shirt or some shit. It's everywhere. So this band, this J-pop group, is spreading this message subliminally. Is that the reason why they're all off themselves? Well, this is the part where the movie gets kind of muddled. That could be the reason why everyone's offing themselves, because that storyline kind of has the whole... There's a part in the movie pretty early on after the 54 girls die by the train. The police receive a reel, as in like a movie reel, as in like just a rolled up wheel of flesh that's stitched together, and that flesh is flesh from all those girls that was just cut off of them. The same size, same dimensions, cut off and then stitched together in some weird, bizarre saw fashion. And that was supposed to be like, I don't know. I like the serial killer's message to the police. Well, the storyline with the J-pop group being the influence, being the reason why everyone's off of themselves, that's the one that actually kind of explains where that flesh reel comes from, and there's a new batch of people, girls that get skinned, I guess, get a little part of their flesh skinned. But thing is, this movie, like I said, it has fun with the message board stuff. Now we're talking about like 1990s sort of computers, okay? We're talking low stuff. We're talking about like actual websites. You go there and you like send messages back and forth that way. Okay. So apparently there's this girl, whatever, having fun, this troll, I guess you would say, pretending to be a suicide club and spreading messages around, and that seems to be part of it. Kind of, sort of. And then there is this like the serial killer guy in the movie. He's implied that he's a serial killer. He claims to be the Suicide Club. His name is Genesis, and he looks like he's like an anime character. He's a Japanese dude with blonde hair, blue eyes, very pretty face. You know what I'm saying? He's a glam rock motherfucker. He's all dolled up, whereas he's trying to be like Rocky Horror Picture Show type of stuff. He's trying to be Freddie Mercury, okay? And that part of the movie is weird. In some underground bowling alley, and he's putting on this performance about how he's like Suicide Club, and he's like, I don't know. He's like the Charlie Manson of Japan, or some bullshit. But whatever. It has nothing to do with anything other than I think the movie's trying to show how like we glamorize serial killers and crazy ass fucking whack jobs. Wackos, I should say. Yeah, and that's true. That's true. We do. You know what? Yeah, I definitely would recommend Suicide Club. But it is fucking depressing. You see that many people off themselves. Oh, man, the one thing that comes to mind right now that's fucking wild is when the mom, and it doesn't matter which mom, some random fucking mom, there's so many people that kill themselves, so many different fucking extra characters. It's like, what the fuck? All right. But there's this little girl who wants some chocolate. So the dad's like, go ask your mom for some chocolate. She goes to the kitchen, asks her mom for chocolate. And the mom's like, okay. And the mom's like cutting into her hand, like not giving a shit. Was cutting, I don't know, some sort of carrot or something. And it starts cutting into her hand, cutting it off. Now, the blood effects, super cheesy, like weird. You know, the blood is like this weird color, like a bright orange. Doesn't make much sense. But I could look the other way on that. Just based on how the whole thing went down. The expression on the mom's face. The way obviously they're cutting into a fake hand, the way that looked, the slicing into the flesh, that part did look pretty cool. And just the act itself. Is crazy. Pretty wild. But anyway, I would definitely recommend it. And there's this, at the end, like it all starts coming together. Like I said, the J-pop group, they're in on it. They're part of it. And behind it all are these kids. And you heard these kids in this movie kind of like a little bit in the beginning when they call the police, and you hear this kid who sounds really strange. Every time he talks, he like he it's like he clears his throat. He'll be like, "I want to speak to the detective." Okay, who are you? My name is so and so. And it's just every time would say it clear his throat. Well, you get to see those kids. It's fucking weird. They'll say things like, "Oh, are you connected with yourself? Are you part of you? Are you really you? Why are you here? Why are you alive? Why are you connected with yourself? Why don't you just don't connect with yourself? If you don't connect with yourself, you could connect with your wife and your kid again. You're still connected with them, but now you're connected to you. How selfish of you." Apparently that's all it takes for people to just kill themselves. But anyway, so what do you guys, as far as Japanese horror movies go, what are some that come to mind for you? I'm looking at the text art, trying to figure out what it is. What is that supposed to be? I'm looking at it. I'm like, what is that? Oh wait, I think I see it. Is that what I think it is? I don't even. What? Nah. That's a lot of. You have to zoom, dead man. Well, why would I want to zoom? I have to do work. I will say that I'm sort of surprised when it comes to like Japanese horror movies that they don't really have their universal monsters sort of, right? Their monsters are like Godzilla. They have that. They have radioactive fucking creatures and beasts, and honestly, I can't even pretend to know what all of them are. I'm not a Godzilla nerd. I don't know all those monsters in and out. I know this for sure, though. I don't see how King Kong could kick Godzilla's ass. I just do not see it. Yeah, James Fountain. Everybody hears in PP's chats all the time. Pretty much. I mean, I see you guys quite a bit on the PPP streams. I'm like, what's up? You know? Yeah, we kind of have similar audience. You know? Don't break the fourth wall, Sean. Okay. All right, so I think I'll wrap it up here. I mean, I'm pretty much exhausted what I was talking about with these four Japanese horror films and Japanese horror in general. But yeah, it just sort of, so they, I was going to say something about them not having their own like universal monsters, but I suppose in a way they do. They have Godzilla and they have all that stuff. That's what scares them. You know? I mean, they have like Ju-on, they have like that shit, but they don't have slashers, right? Or is that just my limited knowledge? I don't recall. I can't think of a lot of slashers. I mean, they probably do. I just haven't seen them. But they do have zombie ass. And zombie ass is pretty damn fucking entertaining. Get PPP back on, Deadman. I definitely would. I definitely would. I guess we're never on the same time. Whatever, you know? Shit. I'm not even in the loop of anything, you know? I get a message here and there. I'm like, okay. But yeah, nothing negative. In fact, when I did that video kind of explaining, what happened, they were like, "Oh man, we didn't mean to like make you think. What was it? We didn't mean to do anything out of disrespect or whatever." It's like, no, man, no, dude, it's okay, it's cool. Like, I get it. Things happen. And I know it's kind of rare on the internet, but I totally understand. Things fucking happen, and it's not some like ill intent or any of that bullshit. It's just things happen. People get busy. I'm a busy motherfucker. You guys are busy motherfuckers, and like it just happens sometimes, I'm not gonna cry about it. Jesus Christ. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna wrap up the stream here. You guys take it easy. Y'all have a good one. And I guess that's it. I still have all the cigar. I'll smoke it. Now. I'll watch them. I'll not watch porn because I'm trying to not be a coomer, right? I'll watch some other horror movie. Y'all have a good one.